Hey guys, welcome to the Warriors Den. This is Rico Gomez. I'll be your host today. Hey, and this is my reaction video to the video that I posted the other day, which is called. Give me a second here, guys. It's called "Will Traditional Martial Arts Protect You in Street Fighting? Fight for Your Life." And I posted that video because I had a discussion with a master martial artist, which I won't reveal his name just yet. Well, actually, his name is Sifu Singh, and he is the current progenitor of the Jeet Kune Do fighting system, which came from Bruce Lee. Which, if you're like me, guys, if you're a child of the 60s or 70s, you initially got into martial arts from watching Enter the Dragon, and that's what launched me into martial arts, dude. And I give homage to Bruce Lee, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger have everybody wanting to have muscles. Michael Jackson wanted everybody wanting to dance really good, things of that nature, right? So I had a very prolific conversation with him because there's a big dichotomy between, let's just say, for example, boxers and wrestlers and cage fighters. Let's just call those contact sports, right? And then you have the traditional martial arts, which let's call those forms and techniques, right? And there's a dichotomy because, say for example, and we were talking about it, sports like wrestling, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Okay, I call those sports because they have competitions. And then you have striking martial arts, like for example, boxing, kickboxing. Like I mean, part of the practice you got to get hit. You have to understand how to take a hit. That's just part of the training. I myself like that type of a training, but then I run into people who take traditional martial arts who just want to be able to defend themselves from getting hit, which I understand. I understand the philosophy. The reality of it is if you're in a fight, you're going to get hit. And it's just like when I look at these knife fighting videos, man. A lot of people take these knife fighting courses because what happens is when they get accosted by a person that has a knife, they want to be able to safely defend against the knife, disarm the person, and go home unarmed. The reality of it, just from my experience in combat and street fighting, is you're going to get cut. It just depends on where you get cut and how badly you get cut and how many times you get cut, right? So the reason I made this video about will traditional martial arts protect you in a street fight is because me and Sifu Singh, we were talking about how like, for example, a lot of guys that come from an MMA cage fighting background, like Joe Rogan, for example, they like to clown people to take traditional martial arts because they say that it doesn't work, right? And here's what myself and Sifu Singh, and he articulated for me. That's why I had to make this video, guys, because all my life I knew in my head. So I'm gonna give you an example, guys. I got started into traditional martial arts when I was a kid. I took Taekwondo, and I took it back east. And in Taekwondo, there are competitions like you learn how to kick and punch, and you put on pads, and you strike, and you kick, and you punch. I thought it was a great martial art. Like, I learned a lot. And back then in the 60s when I was taking it, guys, most guys were into boxing. So even if a guy was bigger and stronger than me, guys, just follow this out with the physics. Even if he's bigger and stronger than me and taller, I can never hit him with my arms, but my legs, guys, my legs are longer, they're stronger, and they're more powerful. And so when you fighting against a guy who doesn't know how to kick properly, and you give him kicks in the groin, or you give him kicks into the stomach, or you give him kicks in the face, because Taekwondo has a lot of high spinning kicks. I used to do a lot of roundhouses, very flashy stuff. If you're fighting a guy who's untrained, dude, you're like a superstar. And so I think that Taekwondo taught me a lot about striking and distance and using my legs, right? Now, here's the problem that I encountered. I got into an altercation with a wrestler. And so even though I did a spinning kick and I slapped him across the face with my kick, before I could touch the ground, man, he grabbed me and he body slammed me, dude. That's when I quickly knew, like, okay, like, striking is cool, and maybe because I didn't have the power to effectively, like, when I was a kid, dude, I can do roundhouse kicks and spinning heel kicks and all that, but I didn't have the necessary power and force. That's why when guys say to me, like, oh, martial arts, it doesn't require strength. It's just speed and technique. I say it depends. I say it depends on who you're fighting. It depends on the situation. If you have a big, strong guy, even if you strike him in a vital area with speed and accuracy, if there's no power to inflict damage to that area, I mean, it's debatable, but I'm not here to debate that on this video. What I'm saying to you guys, I talked to Sifu Singh, and all my life I knew that traditional martial arts with its forms and its techniques and its katas, it helped me in the street fights because maybe because the guys weren't trained. Let's say that's your argument. Maybe because the guys weren't trained. So I want to fast forward it. So then I started taking up wrestling, and I very quickly found out wrestling is a strength sport as well. Yeah, there's a lot of techniques and stuff like that. But if you're wrestling, out back then I was like 135 pounds, and you're wrestling the guys like 185 pounds, dude. And we got the same coach and the same training. 9 times out of 10, dude, he's defeating me because he already knows the moves, he knows the techniques, he knows the escapes, and he's bigger than me physically bigger and stronger. Just the way it is. So then I figured out, okay, I got my taekwondo down and I'm doing my wrestling. There's some guys that are better than me in wrestling. I did the taekwondo. I took up wrestling because I didn't have enough power to knock the guys out. So then I took up boxing because I figured, okay, if the guy gets past my kicks and I could hit him with some flurries before he grabs me, like just trying to keep him off me so I can back up in order to get enough distance to kick. So just follow me, guys. So I did that all the way until I joined the military. I joined the United States Army. I joined the Green Beret. Well, first I went Ranger, then I joined Green Beret Special Forces. But on the base, they had Isshin-Ryu Karate, which is a hard style karate. It reminded me of Taekwondo, except the karate was a little bit more, had a little bit more, I felt, more tools. You know what I mean? And so it taught me really about focused punches and kicks, not high jumping kicks, but grounded kicks, just solid kicks, right? And the forms and the techniques and the katas, dude, they help me incorporate, because on Army bases, it's a lot of fights, guys. I just want to share this with you. It's not all lovey-dovey, kumbaya, we are all one. You got guys from all over the country, Chicago, New York, Detroit, Philly, Los Angeles, San Diego, whatever, Virginia, impoverished hood people trying to change their life, former gang members. There's just problems that you get into fights. So I just found that the katas and the forms did help me, and here's what Sensei Sifu Singh and I agreed upon. When I loaded up that first video, guys, for you to see, that was for my combat Hapkido, and that was just an exhibition I'm testing for my black belt. So these are the forms that we have to practice and study for the testing. But here's what Sifu Singh and I agreed upon. When you take these traditional martial arts with the forms and the katas and everything, and the testing and the exhibitions, there's got to be a striking element. So even if the school that you're in is not giving you a striking element where you put on some actual boxing gloves, you put on your mouthpiece, you put on some shin protectors, you know what I mean? And you have to punch and kick, dude. You have to, because that's going to prepare you for what I call the oh shit factor, or the adrenaline factor, or the fight or flight factor. Because if you get your clock clean really good, like sometimes you're walking, like for example, when I lived in New York, you're trying to take a shortcut, you go through an alley, they have muggers in there in the dark. And the dude's in the dark, he'll just sock you, he's looking to knock you out so he can rob you. He'll just sock you without you seeing, so you're seeing stars, Tweety birds, and things of that nature. You have to have the ability to move forward in fear and shock, and you only get that through contact martial arts, guys. So that's my take on it. You know, as always, I like to hear your comments because this is our community. It's important you thumbs up my video, guys, because it increases the algorithm, the chances for other people to join our community and to hear my thoughts. And then more importantly, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, share the video, guys, because we're going to grow this community. I'm going to be putting up videos like that, traditional martial arts. I'm also going to be putting up some of my sparring martial arts videos from Filipino knife fighting, Commando Krav Maga, boxing, and karate and jiu-jitsu. I'm going to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu and Japanese jiu-jitsu, and then if the stars align, I'm going to be working with Sifu Singh, doing some Jeet Kune Do, which I'm really excited about. So look forward to hearing you guys. Until next time, Rico Gomez out. Take care.